Okay, hello again. Today I want to talk about waking up. So I've kind of been over the whole morning routine thing and moving your alarm clock and having a set routine and a set schedule for the morning. I've kind of already been over that before. But today I kind of wanted to go over something slightly different. And so I guess what I'm thinking is, I think that you need to wake up with. I guess I'll give you a little story. In college, my freshman year in school, I had terrible habits. Nothing I did was really particularly good for me. I ate like shit. I drank a lot. I mean, there was a lot of things I shouldn't have been doing that I was doing. And one of those things was waking up. So if I had a class at noon, I'd wake up at like 11:30, 11:40. And then I would just, run to class, like directly out of bed. And at the time, I was kind of thinking, well, this is amazing. I can sleep in for most of the morning and then just go right to class. It's amazing. I can just do whatever I want. I can sleep forever. And in the moment, I was appreciative of having that extra time in the morning to just sleep, and I'd wake up and go to class. Well, I kind of came to realize that. I didn't like that at all. I felt like I did. I thought that I did because that was kind of a college stereotype. That's just what college kids kind of do, right? They sleep in and then they go to class drunk or whatever they do. I don't know. And so, in the moment, I was kind of thinking, oh, this is great. I can sleep in forever and then I just go right to class. But I kind of came to realize that not only did I wake up, every time I woke up at like 11 or 11:30 or whatever the time might be, it might even have been later than that sometimes, which is ridiculous. But every time that I woke up at that hour, I always felt so groggy. I felt so foggy-minded. I was like, and by the way, half the day is over now. And when you wake up that late in the day, when you're literally waking up at noon, quite literally, almost half the day is over, right? I mean, essentially depends on when you wake up normally, but half the day is gone now to sleep that you didn't need, right? You don't need that much sleep. You might think that you do. You probably don't. But that's one thing, is you don't need that much sleep. And I mean, it was just this feeling of such foggy, unclear, just cloudy mindedness, and it was terrible. You'd wake up and you wouldn't even know what your name was. It was like, all right, what are we doing here? So that's one thing that I think is dangerous about waking up the second before you're supposed to leave. So even if it's earlier in the morning, even if it's not a 12 noon class, even if it's an 8 a.m. class or a 9 a.m. class, I still think that it's worth your while to wake up prior to that by a relatively significant amount. So if you have an 8 a.m. class, kind of my train of thought is at least wake up 2 hours earlier. You got 2 hours to get things done and shower and prepare and get your mind right and eat and just whatever you need to do. 2 hours and also leave on time. It's so much less stressful if you just leave, or if you wake up early enough. So many people that I've kind of come to learn don't do that. They'll wake up 8 minutes beforehand, and I just told you, I used to do the same thing, where they wake up right before they're supposed to be there, and then they just run there, thinking that, I don't know what they're thinking, or what I was thinking, but I'm telling you, it's worth your while to wake up just a little bit earlier. Not only is it less stressful, and you can get more things done. Let me get over here, hang on, pause everything. Okay, very distracted, very sorry. Okay, so I think it's so. Where did I leave off just now? So wake up earlier than you are. Whatever you have scheduled, you got to wake up a reasonable amount earlier than that. Just to kind of get your mind right is one of the biggest things. Because if you wake up the second beforehand, then your head's not gonna be right. And so I think it's super worth it to do that. And I guess while we're on the topic, I'll kind of go over a routine as well. A lot of people think I was just talking to some of my friends, and we were kind of going over how we were talking about like how early I wake up versus when they wake up and everything, and I said that I wake up at 5 a.m., which I have been doing lately. And they're like, "What? 5 a.m.? What are you doing at 5 a.m.?" And part of that reason is I work at 7:30, so I have to leave relatively early. But part of the other reason is I have a full routine that I do every single morning, no matter what. And so I guess I don't have to go over the details of my routine, but I think it makes sense, and it's very beneficial if you have a routine, and because if you just kind of wake up and you're aimlessly just hanging out, and maybe you're active, maybe you're not, then yeah, you're gonna probably like fall back asleep, and that's gonna be the end of it. But if you have a routine set before you go to bed, if you already know what you're supposed to be doing in the morning, it kind of helps you wake up a little bit, because you already have a plan, you've already got a schedule, you've already got an itinerary, right? So it's helpful to know what you're doing beforehand and to have a routine and have a plan. So anyway, I think it's incredibly beneficial. It's kind of the miracle morning thing, right? So you wake up, you've got a routine, and you're knocking things out, and it carries on, right? So that first task of waking up at whatever time you have set, that first goal, that first mission, kind of carries over. I was just listening this morning to this yoga. I watched this yoga lady. I do yoga with her on YouTube, and she was saying that your mat is a mirror, right? So when you're doing yoga, what you do on the mat will translate to the rest of your day. So if you crush it on doing yoga on the mat, you're probably going to crush the rest of the day. Whereas if you're being lazy and you don't really feel like doing anything, and so you're just kind of half-assing your yoga on your mat, well, you're probably going to half-ass the rest of your day. So your mat is a mirror, and your whole morning is a dictator of. It's a great dictator, I guess is the word, or a symbol. It'll project out for what I'm trying to say, right? Anyway, wake up before you're supposed to, for whatever you have planned. Wake up prior to that, and start to kind of get things done, and it's just so much less stressful, so much more beneficial. So do that. Wake up earlier and get things done. I mean, there's one more quick thing before I end the video. I was just talking to my friends about waking up early, and they were saying, well, what are you gonna do when you wake up? I mean, what's the point? I'm just gonna hang around. And I was just baffled a little bit, because there is infinite information at your fingertips at all times. Because you have a laptop, you got a cell phone. Those two things alone, you could be learning for the rest of your life. You could be learning so much for the rest of your life. There's always something else to learn, right? There's always something else to learn. And that's part of the thing waking up early will teach you, is that if you kind of get to it, and you're kind of in a roll, and you're doing good stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. You're on a roll and you're kind of doing good stuff, then you'll just be learning more. You'll be experiencing more and learning more and gaining more in the mornings, right? So there's always more to learn and more to grow from. And so your waking up earlier will allow you access to do those things, or to, experience those things, to encounter those things. So wake up earlier, and you'll get more things done, and it'll be more beneficial, and your life will be better. Okay, I'm done talking. Bye-bye.